front line. And Gnar going to be picked up here for the side of Fred Brion. It's definitely going to be good for team fighting. Their composition scales extremely well with the Victor that they've decided to go with here. Works well with Hecarim in terms of the jungle. You can actually look for picks on the bottom side of the map or the top side of the map, depending on where Canyon is. So tracking where the Graves is can actually lead to a lot of pressure in the early game with this Victor. And then he could scale up super well as the Lulu will be the support here, actually. I mean, very likely.
Top lane.
Yeah, it could be.
Because we have seen that before. Of course, this was an old favorite of our old mate Noguri while he was up here. And Damwon Kia, of course, the same team, might be wanting to utilize that, but it could still be support. Like, we don't necessarily know. Of course, if you do put Lulu in that bottom side, then you do have a lot more lane power because you can poke out the rel, but Gragas is just so good at stopping the crash down that I would imagine that this is what we're going to see. So now Canyon has a lot of options when it comes to ganking lanes. This is another one of the Damwon Kia drafts that's all about making Canyon a raid boss. And they can definitely get that done with this Lulu able to augment so much of what Graves can get done, and then Showmaker having a lot of backup damage with all of the CC that he can provide just by himself. It was that Zoe doesn't provide enough consistency. Something like a Victor would have done a much better job in that instance, and they've gone,
so there's no lanes he can gank safely, there's no farm he can get, he's just not in a good place.
Well, that Attract Repel is not the one that you really want here as Delight's burning down. He has to flash as Beryl goes in, gets the kill. Ghost flashes forward as well, didn't really need to. However, they do guarantee first blood on the bottom side of the map for Damwon Kia, and this was the one lane that wasn't going terribly for Fred at Brion.
Yeah. Ironically, it's, oh, hold that thought. We might get another pick here.
Yeah, there's the flash out from Khan. Does shield himself up, but the flash forward from Hoya. This should be a dead Lulu pretty comfortably, and Hoya will lock that one down. So an immediate answer here from Fred Brion on the top side. And feels like Khan goes into the bank to try and find his counter pick of choice, and has chosen one that has worked pretty well so far. Counter picks have been interesting in the LCK
recently,
for the last week or two, as we did see the Nasus coming out into the Scion. That was in fact Damwon Kia that had to deal with that, and they did so very nicely.
Yeah, Chronicler's actually, oh, we might see this once again.
Yeah,
no flash for Khan.
No flash for Hoya either, but no mana for Khan as well, as he does have the wild growth and does use that in order to create enough distance. Canyon just going to say thank you very much for this Cloud Drake. No Cloud Soul here today for game number 1. Heck yes. Maybe, just maybe, I have got it out of my system.
Now, this one's not going to lead to anything. At least secure the ward charge.
That's how you cue the cannon minion. As Crashdown comes through yet again, Attract Repel for the stun. It's once again Delight taking a lot of damage. Ghost wants to pop that passive and does so, and that's an easy 2v2 kill once again for Damwon Kia. They're just better.
To know that you're like just never going to get blown up in these fights. Just hold that.
Yep. Showmaker just going to get the shuffle, and Canyon just says, thank you very much. Collateral damage, and walks away. Comes back again afterwards because Showmaker says, help me shove this wave.
In almost every matchup, is Damwon Kia now going to try to turn this into some mid-turret plates on the mid-turret.
Yeah, Khan even coming down here as the Barrel is going to come back. Beryl tanking up the turret for just a little while as Umpty trying to get them out of here, but maybe goes a little bit early as the Super Mega Death Rocket does fly by.
He goes in and looks for a Magnet Storm to start the fight. That I'm very concerned for Fred Brion's comp here. Is this a nice bait attempt?
Yeah, and actually, Umpty might be able to finish this one off. Doesn't have a lot of damage, as of course he's just sitting on a couple of Ruby Crystals, and the Hecarim doesn't do as much early game damage as he used to, as Yaharong is going to turn up. No turret there for Khan, and he will be taken down with a Chaos Storm to the face. We've got another dive being set up here on the bottom side, though, as if Fred Brion can weather this, then certainly a very great turn of events.
But, I mean, if you just sit back and wait, you're going to lose more on the map anyway, so I appreciate the gumption here.
Yeah. I agree. That being said, I mean, Fred Brion do sacrifice the entire bottom side of the map. There's no way that they can get any priority in mid because they did lose that turret maker. When we throw some soldiers in and make his life difficult. Canyon down here towards the bot side. Looks like they're not going to challenge for the rip-off, is now Beryl getting closed in on. Teleport, yeah, towards the bottom side here as there's the Barrel. Does get Hoya out of position as he does get a decent gnar back there. Focusing Ghost who should go down relatively quickly, gets the wild growth, but eventually does fall. Graves gets one back as well as now Showmaker slightly out of position. Beryl has to flash, and it's a big win for Fred at Brion on the bottom side.
Oh man, this is another one of those plays that you don't expect from Fred at Brion. This is not a team that makes choices like this, but they are making so many aggressive calls in this game, and Hoya makes that teleport to the bottom side of the map into a very nice engage. Umpty's ultimate there as well, well played. And then rotate around with this Rift Herald pressure for the Drake that's spawning in 20 seconds. Like, the timing of all of this worked so well for Fred at Brion.
Yeah, even though Yaharong was like happy feeding for a really long time there towards the bottom side, they were still able to get the value that they were looking for. Tower falls down on the bottom side of the map, and now Damwon just trying to get to work, clearing out these creeps. But Fred at Brion do not want to give away this dragon. Soul Point, very valuable, especially when it's this Mountain Soul. I mean, Mountains would just be absolutely insane for this Fred at Brion comp if they can get their hands on them.
Exactly. Damwon on the Drake first, but remember, there's so much disengage for Damwon. I don't know if Fred at Brion can actually just turn this fight. They can't necessarily get in. Emperor's Divide is going to be so important. As you pointed out in the last fight, we didn't see it.
As is the explosive cast from Canyon. Not going to be able to take away the Drake as it is secured by Umpty. He gets into the backline, moves Beryl out of position, but the Rel is already taken down. They've traded support so far, and now Damwon looking to try and press further forward, but a 1-for-1 with the Drake going in the hands of Fred at Brion. They're going to be super happy with that. Damwon are going to have to look for more flanks in this game. I think a lot of it will have to do with Beryl breaking up teamfights from the very beginning and delivering a kill onto a carry. Speaking of which, goodbye, Hannah. That's exactly what we were talking about. Thank you so much, Damwon for showing us exactly what we wanted to see.
Unfortunately, Caster cursed by you, I guess, in this case, is picked, and now you can't challenge this as easily as Fred at Brion. I mean,
this Baron's going down so extraordinarily fast. Sand Soldiers just doing so much work. As in goes Beryl, he gets Chaos Stormed immediately. Magnustorm not quite getting the value that it wants as Umpty. Gonna have to get out of there. Beryl's gonna be the sacrificial lamb, but it's a trade. 1-for-1 plus a Baron, and you'll take that any day of the week, as that's a majestic rocket, but it's not gonna do anything other than look cool as it sails by. Yeah, I mean, it was because Henna was walking by himself, right? But now
they're trying to race this down.
Yeah, they've got them all set up here as Beryl moves on in. So Mega Death Rocket and Canyon will secure it. Umpty immediately gets out of there. And it looks like Damwon are just going to be able to rotate around. Fred at Brion, without actually taking this minion wave down just yet, not going to be able to prevent Damwon from getting towards their inner turret to be available. As Damwon 4 seconds here until the Drake comes up. Fred at Brion not in the greatest position.
Look at the damage here, though, for Fred at Brion. If they can actually just get on top of Damwon they can win a fight here.
Yeah, if Yaharong can get into position and actually execute on his damage numbers, it can certainly work out. Super Mega Death Rocket just to loosen up the members, as that Magnustorm's going to get a lot of value. Big shields out, though, as it is going to be Beryl going down. Once again, it's just going to be a trade as the Jinx locks down the Drake. And they just walk their way out. A denial of the Mountain Soul, as well as adding a second stack for Fred at Brion.
And no vision here.
Is Damwon just going to steal another Baron?
They have vision on the scuttle, so they should be able to see this coming.
Yeah, Ghost actually snuck in there with the supercharger as Beryl's going to try and interrupt. Not going to be able to steal it away as Umpty. That was very close to a 50-50. Ghost is going to flash over that wall to get out. And Damwon just taking lunch money, man. Like, we can see that in these straight-up team fights, Fred at Brion do very, very well.
Yeah, but they're just not getting any.
Yeah, but you also just, you can't be that lax in your vision control, because that's what can throw away, clear out vision and then walk away. So it did look like they weren't there, but then when you've got Azir that can do damage over the wall, quick draw to allow Canyon to dash on in there, like, it's still not a good enough excuse to say that, oh, he sort of juked it and we just assumed they didn't do it. All of these items that they're picking up are so valuable as well. I mean, especially Calm when he gets towards this Ardent Sensor that's going to be coming in next. It is a big damage advantage as in goes Umpty. He's found the flank onto Ghost. Doesn't quite get the displacement there, though, because of the dead turret. And so he is able to walk his way out. And Showmaker, in the meantime, is just smacking down this turret on the top side. Fred at Brion are now coming on in. There are a lot of Sand Soldiers set up for Showmaker to taxi his way out. And he's just going to be able to take an inhibitor turret and get out of there. Hoya goes in with a Nara into the wall, but there's zero follow-up.
Yeah, and this is the second time in this exchange where there's been a nice engage, but no follow-up. I mean, Umpty's wraparound was really cool in theory, especially if he catches Ghost, but if there's no damage, does it even matter? The answer is no. Now an inhibitor turret is down. They can't really start this with the hopes of finishing it quickly. Yeah. Ghost is a threat that can engage, though, from a long distance.
Exactly. Like, Killer Instinct is going to be able to get him into any sort of engagement if it does actually break out. There's now Omti moving on in. He's already taken a little bit of poke here as Beryl is keeping his eye on what's going on, throwing barrels around, things like that. Canyon not in position to smite right now. They don't really care about taking away the Drake. They just want to win a teamfight. As Delight is going to go down. Hoya has to flash to get himself out, and Canyon says, heck no, you are not getting away from me. Now he's rotating around to the last remaining 3 members, and Damwon Kia, with just 2 picks, they should be able to lock themselves down an inhibitor at least.
Instead of deciding to try to take the Drake Smite fight, they kind of walk away and wait for Fred Brion to collapse in, and that's when they pull the trigger. That's when they go in for the fight. Ended up getting those picks. They know that in that straight-up trade, they won't be able to make it happen.
Well, Umti's going in yet again as Canyon just focuses on taking down the turret. They're going to get all of the inhibitors. So definitely trading up here. They're like, well, you can have your 3rd Mountain Drake. We'll raise you 3 inhibitors. Just avoiding the poke as best they can. The Baron has been started here from Fred Brion. It's desperation, but it's needed. As now Beryl setting himself up. Hoya taking a fair bit of damage there as even the Void Seeker's doing a lot of work. Canyon gets in from the side and Henry's just obliterated. Canyon goes gold and he bought so much time already as goes over the wall, able to deal with Umti. Beryl has all the CC required. Canyon does fall, but it does not matter. Yaharong running for the hills as the Void Seeker is avoided, but it doesn't matter. He's still going to die. He's going to take a bow there and show off his top hat as this is the end of the game, but beautifully executed by both teams, actually. There were some moments here that where Fred Brion showed us exactly how this comp's supposed to work, but it was a Damwon macro masterclass outside of that.
It was really the showcasing of their macro, their understanding of the team comps. Knowing Fred Brion, right? Like, take a look at the damage here. A ton of damage coming through from Ghost. Very safe positioning all game long, but there were some good moments for Fred Brion. They actually took team fights and took skirmishes in the early game where they were high risk, high reward, which is something that we haven't really been able to say about this team up until this point.
Yeah.
That teleport fight we had on the bottom side of the map, for example, Yaharong rotating all the way around to the top side to get that kill onto Khan. These are plays we need to see more often of from Fred Brion.
Yeah.
Welcome back everybody for the LCK Analyst Desk, and Damwon Kia is taking on Fred Brion to get their revenge, and today we'll be joined by Subin-Yun, Victory, and Gorilla. And this is Jason with the translation. 12-1, Damwon Kia only has 1 loss in the split, and Bro was the one that was able to take them down. But this time around, Damwon Kia is starting off with a win in game number 1. Nar, Udyr, and Rel, all 3 champions with 100% pick and ban rate was open, and Rel was the first pick coming from Fred Brion. Those 3 champions were the most pick and ban champions in the 11.4 patch, and Rel was the choice coming from Fred Brion. And then Damwon Kia was actually able to give Canyon Graves for the first rotation of that pick. And Hecarim is a champion that cannot match the scaling speed of Graves in the early games. So Damwon Kia was able to exert some pressure in the early game. And Lulu is a champion that can have lane priority into Gnar as well, so Graves was able to play even more aggressively around the top side of the map. But Damwon Kia did not have a solid comp, to be honest. So when Fred Brion had their lead in this game, it looked like the game was getting a little bit dicey for Damwon Kia, but still, they were able to come back and take game number 1 away from Fred Brion in the end, thanks to the play coming out from Beryl on that Dragon's pick. But still, it was really impressive to see Fred Brion coming out really strong with their dive comp in this game number 1. Now let's take a look at this first replay, where we had a very close fight. And then Damwon Kia was able to make a miracle pick on Jinx, and they were able to come online. I think this is mainly about Beryl just being super talented. So Beryl places a ward behind that wall, but still, because it was right at the corner, blue team didn't have vision of that ward, so even though Hannah was walking to that barrel from the get-go. Maybe he just thought that that was a prediction barrel, so he just walked straight to the downhand side of the map. But still, in fact, Kia had that vision. The barrel was able to land his cask, and then Ghost followed up with his ultimate right after. So we can say that was a fantastic and clean shot pulled off by Gregus and Kaisa. Burl and Ghost, the bottom duos of Damwon Kia. And now let's take a look at the second replay, the game-ending Baron team fight. Damwon Kia was not interested in taking that Baron die. They just wanted to draw the attention from Frederick Brion, and then Burl uses his sweeper in order to find the perfect flank position, and they had all eyes on Jinx. And then body slam found Jinx in the back line, and because of the smoke screen, Jinx was not able to react to that engage coming from Burl. And we heard from the mic tech in the end that Burl, in the end, he said, nice smoke screen, Graves, which means that smoke screen was doing a significant work in order to get a pick onto that Jinx in the end. Damwon Kia was setting up for the play. They just wanted to drag all the Freddy Brion players around that Baron pit, and they were able to maneuver the setup play that they wanted. There were some moments where Damwon Kia struggled because of the comp that they had. It was really difficult to execute, but still, the world champions knew how to pull it off in the end of this game. Even though we had a back and forth game, Damwon Kia was able to take game number 1, and they are so close to breaking their own winning streak record of a one single split, and Burl was able to pick up this POG on Gragas. Third POG of the split, and 92% of kill participation in this game. He was doing a fantastic work starting from the laning phase, and he was doing all the work done in the later phase of the game, in the team fight stage. And prior to that, this replay in the laning phase, we saw a kill happening during the laning phase, and Jinx was so low on mana, so she could not react to that fight coming from Burl and Ghost. And there were some moments where Damwon Kia definitely was falling behind, but in that fight we could see Burl blocking that engage coming out from Rel. He was able to be the savior of Damwon Kia, and almost the perfect score for this POG votes as well. Damwon Kia players, they were actually appreciating the performance coming out from Frederick Brion, so maybe we can have another very close series in game number 2, so back to our casters.